In previous chapters, we saw how Subhadata, a woodcutter, ventured into deep forest and accidentally met 5 fairies. How he learned about magical pitcher from them, and how finally he got the magical pitcher for himself, leaving the fairies in tears, and went to his family, taking the pitcher. In this chapter, let's see what happened next. You can just imagine what a surprise it was to Subhadata's wife and children when they saw him coming along the path leading to his home. He did not bring the pitcher with him, but had hidden it in a hollow tree in the wood near his cottage, for he did not mean anyone to know that he had it. He told his wife that he had lost his way in the forest and had been afraid he would never see her or his children again, but he said nothing about the fairies. When his wife asked him how he had got food, he told her a long story about the fruits he had found, and she believed all he said. When his wife was about to start cooking a nice meal for her husband, Subhadata said, "Oh, don't bother about that. I've brought something back with me. I'll go and fetch it, but no one is to come with me." He seized a big basket which was full of fuel for the fire, tumbled all the wood in it on the floor, and went off alone to the pitcher. Very soon he was back again with his basket full of all sorts of good things, the very names of which his wife and children had no idea of. Life was now, of course, completely changed for the family in the forest. Subhadata no longer went to cut wood to be sold, and the boys also left off doing so. Every day their father fetched food for them all. And the greatest desire of each one of the family was to find out where it came from. They never could do so, for Subhadata managed to make them afraid to follow him when he went forth with his basket. The secret he kept from the wife, to whom he used to tell everything, soon began to spoil the happiness of the home. His wife got sadder and sadder, and at last decided to tell Subhadata that unless he would let her know where the food came from, she would go away from him and take the children with her. She really did mean to do this, but something soon happened to change everything again. Of course, the neighbors in the wood, who had helped them by giving them fruit and rice, heard of the return of their father and of the wonderful change in their lot. Now the whole family had plenty to eat every day, though none of them knew where it all came from. Subhadata was very fond of showing off what he could do, and sometimes asked his old friends amongst the woodcutters to come and have a meal with him. When they arrived, they would find all sorts of good things spread out on the ground and different kinds of wines in beautiful bottles. This went on for some months, Subhadata getting prouder and prouder of all that he could do, and it seemed likely that his secret would never be discovered. Everybody tried to find it out, and many followed him secretly when he set forth into the woods. But he was very clever at dodging them, hiding his treasure constantly in a new place in the dead of the night. He began to boast of his cleverness, telling his friends there was nothing they wanted that he could not get for them, and one day when he had given them a very grand feast, in which were several rare kinds of food they had asked for, he drank too much wine, so much that he no longer knew what he was saying. This was the chance his guests wanted. They began teasing him, telling him they believed he was really a wicked robber who had stolen the food or the money to buy it. He got angry and at last was actually silly enough to get very angry at them and started quarrel with them. When his wife heard this, she was half pleased to think that now at last the secret would come out of where the food came from, and half afraid that something terrible would happen. The woodcutter angrily screamed at everyone and asked them to be there at his home until he came back. Determined to flaunt his magical pitcher to everyone, he went to forest to bring the magical pitcher and show them what he possessed. You can imagine how everybody rushed out to meet him when he came in sight and crowded round him so that there was danger of the pitcher being thrown to the ground and broken. Subhadata, however, managed to get into the cottage without any accident, and then he began to take things out of the pitcher and fling them on the ground, shouting, "Am I a robber? Am I a robber? Who dared to call me a robber?" Then, getting more and more excited, he picked up the pitcher and, holding it on his shoulder, began to dance wildly about. His wife called out to him, "Oh, take care, you will drop it." but he paid no attention to her. Suddenly, however, he began to feel giddy and fell to the ground, dropping the pitcher as he did so. It was broken to pieces, and a great cry of sorrow went up from all who saw the accident. The woodcutter himself was broken-hearted, for he knew that he had done the mischief himself, and that if only he had resisted the temptation to drink the wine, he would still have his treasure. Ah! He heard a silvery laugh and what sounded like children clapping their hands, and he thought he also heard the words, "Our pitcher is ours again." Could it all have been a dream? No, for there on the ground were the fruits and cakes that had been in the pitcher, and there were his wife, his children, and his friends, all looking sadly and angrily at him. One by one the friends went away, leaving Subhadatta alone with his family. This is the end of the story of the magic pitcher, but it was the beginning of a new chapter in the lives of Subhadatta and his family. They never forgot the wonder-working pitcher, and the children were never tired of hearing the story of how their father came to get it. They often wandered about in the forest, hoping that they too would meet with some wonderful adventure, but they never saw the fairies or found a magic pitcher. By slow degrees, the woodcutter returned to his old ways, but he had learnt his lesson. Thanks for watching, my friends. If you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe my channel. It will help me a lot to create more videos like this. See you again in another video. Till then, take care.